Yeah, look, sometimes in life you don't get what you deserve, and the same in football. Obviously everyone's seen the last 4 games that we deserved a lot more out of those 4 games, but we haven't got it, and we just have to keep on working hard and improving, and that's what we're doing. We've got a really good group that not once have looked for an excuse, not once have pointed fingers. That they don't look for the excuse. I haven't heard anyone complain about the Ballarat, games that we've had to travel down there and play there, or pointing finger if someone makes a mistake or anything like that. So that shows that we've got a strong group, and once we do get through this period, and we believe we will, that then it holds you in good stead to sustain results after that. So the football we've been playing has been good. The majority of the time, our structure's been really good, and the results will come.
Can a trip up to the Central Coast be what you need? Sometimes they can be these little turning points or just, a change of scenery. Is
Yeah,
it something?
yeah. Hopefully, look, I know the change of scenery always helps, and that they'll be able to go for a walk tomorrow morning along the beach in Terrigal and have a coffee together, and just be together. Which is a little bit different to what they're used to when you're playing. 3 games. At home, so it's good change, but we know it's going to be tough. We know we're in for a fight. We know that the Mariners watched them the last 3 games. They're a team that can cause you problems. We're going to have to win the fight and play our football. Hopefully, with that and that quality, that we can come on top.
What's the health and fitness of the squad that you've got travelling up to Gosford? I guess particularly looking at someone like James Donachie. What's his status?
Yeah, James Donachie's trained all week, but he's not ready yet to play any minutes. He's been out far too long for him to play minutes this week. Hopefully next week he can start to be involved. But other than that, everyone's fit. Everyone's ready to go.
What's your strategy back before bringing somebody like Donks back? Because ostensibly a player coming back from injury, you'd ease them in off the bench, but he's a centre back. You're not really, the centre backs aren't really the type of player you sub in and out of games. How do you approach something like that?
Yeah, it's a little bit different now because there's 5 subs that you can make. So you see the before with going back when there's only 3 sub rule, that no one really would want to change any one of their back four. Whereas now you see it happen a bit more. So we just have to weigh things up. But tomorrow he'll play an internal. He'll get 30 minutes there, along with the NPL side and the players that are left behind. So like Reese Bozanowski, who we're building up nicely because, he was out for a long period with a groin operation, that, he's getting minutes with the NPL side, and soon will be pushing to be involved with the first team. He's looking better and better each day. So, we do take it into, consideration that we've still got 20 odd games left, and we have to make sure these players, when they are back, they stay back. We don't want them to break down again. So, Donachie will weigh up and see how next week goes as well.
Anyone else that is going to miss that you've lost or that you're going to get back this week?
No, no, I think that's all. That's all. I think everyone else is fully fit, ready to go. They can't wait because it obviously hurts when you lose, and the beauty about football is it can change very quickly. We've seen with the results this season, the A League, how tight it can be. We played Wellington, who are top, Adelaide, who were close by, and we felt that we should have got more out of both games. So it shows that the league's going to be really, really tight the whole season. So and again, Mariners haven't picked up the points that they would have liked, but they're still a tough team to play against.
Yeah, what have you made of the Mariners? Obviously, they're starting to get a couple of points here. They obviously got a Coyle leading the line rather than a Cummings. So a lot of changes.
Yeah,
What have you made of them?
yeah, a lot of changes. They still play very similar in terms of last season. So the manager's he's come in, but he knows it was successful. It's just that he's got different personnel. Obviously, with Quoll leading the line, but Quoll's he's a handful. He'll put himself about. He's quick. We know a lot about him. He was here for a little period at Western United before I arrived, and then Tulio's got quality. They've got a lot of quality in that team, and they also got the Caltech, who's a leader at the back, and Nisbet, who's now played a certain amount of games in the A League, that's got experience, and Vukovic, who's got a world of experience. So they're a well balanced team that can cause you problems.
working on in training across, I guess, this week and the previous weeks? Because you've talked about how you're playing well and you're satisfied, but the results aren't there. Maybe in your analysis, have you been looking at, all right, we're playing well except for this one thing, and you've been zeroing in on that in training, or is it have you really have you had to resist the urge to tinker because things are going well?
Yeah, you're right, Joey, because it's hard. Like when things are like when you're performing badly, you have to really have a look and change something. And I'm talking about the results aren't what we want. That's clear. But the performances have been good, so it's just making sure the boys keep on believing in that, and we work on it. Still, it's not one little thing because you know, out of those 5 games, we haven't kept a clean sheet. So, it's not only the attack that we haven't scored the goals, even though we're getting opportunities. It's also, keeping a clean sheet, making sure that we're still, going to be hard to beat, and going forward, that we still keep on creating these chances and get into goal scoring positions. So it's not just one thing; it's the whole package that we're working on and we're working towards, and we'll just keep on doing that and improving. And I'm sure with each game we've seen massive improvements. Each game has certain difficulties and certain different scenarios because Wellington are a team that sit a lot deeper than what Adelaide do. So we weren't able to create the 1v1s as we did against Adelaide, but we were able to, dominate the majority of the game and still create our chances, hit the post, and I think Paulson got man of the match again. It's a bit of a trend of late that the goalkeepers are getting man of the match for the opposition, which is, hopefully we can change that this week.
How is it for you personally, John? You've obviously been in this game a long time, but it's never easy, I imagine, as coach when you go on these losing runs, especially when you feel like you're playing good football and not getting the rewards. Is it tough on you, or are you feeling any pressure or anything like that?
No, look, the pressure I put on is on myself, and because I want to be competing at the top and competitive, but also I know that the big picture of what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to do as a club. We know as a club where we're at, and we know where we're trying to head to, and so there's going to be certain bumps in the road, but I spoke to Joey about this after the game. I've been around long enough, as a player that's dealt with certain situations, as a coach already that's dealt with certain situations. So I know that how quickly it can change, and that's why if I didn't see the playing group so strong, didn't see them, still training the house down, still putting in all the effort, then I'd start to be a little bit worried. But I don't see that. I just see a group that's just wanting to keep on improving, and if that's the case, then I know it'll turn.
Why do you think the group is responding like that, John? Because we've seen all over the world clubs, whenever they go through a losing run, you see the players drop their heads and steps need to be taken and this and that. But from what you're telling us, the players have never faltered in that, and you really haven't had to do anything too particularly motivating or special to keep them that way. Why? What are the dynamics of this group that make them like that?
I think it's what we're building as a club, and what I got brought in, to, I think people remember that second season at West United, they lost 8 on the trot, and so it was to change things, and it was to build something, and it was to build a culture. Everyone talks about culture, but what does it mean? It's easy to say about culture when you're winning. It's hard to say about culture when you're losing, because that's when people get tested, and so this is where I know that we're building something special, because we've got a group that all together, and I'll talk about group. I don't just talk about playing group. I talk about coaching staff. I talk about people in the club, in the office. I'm seeing people in the office are hurting just as much as us, but they're still sticking together and still working towards. They've had so many difficult moments as well, in terms of where we're playing out of, all those things that. So I know that this will make the club stronger and the playing group stronger, and that happens a lot of the time. I think even Timmy Cahill said this. That players and that should enjoy winning, and they want to win, but learn from your losses. They're not failures. They're your learning moments. And this is where we're learning a lot about ourselves. And I'm liking what I see. And then we want to win now, because that will really show everyone what I'm talking about. It's not just me, filling people up with words. And I think you see it on the weekend, Joe. You see the players go right to the end. It's not just me, just saying it and they're not responding.
You talk about that 8-game losing streak the club went on in year 2. From memory, that was the one where they had to do a whole bunch of road trips across the country, interspersed with home games in Ballarat. Have you gained a little bit more of an appreciation of why they might have had that losing streak across the past few weeks?
Yeah, I knew about that when I signed up for this. That it would be like that. I knew there would be rocky roads. It's just that it got a little bit. The cracks were covered a little bit because we won that first season that I was here. But there's still a lot of work to do as a club, and we know that, and we're building towards that. So, yeah, the road trips aren't easy, but again, that will only make us stronger.